Well, jobs are at the heart of it. If you look at my lapel pin, you'll see I work for the Department of Commerce, and we are about creating economic opportunity. So they're the jobs associated with shipbuilding. Hundreds of people are going to be involved in building these ships at the yard here in Louisiana. But also, once these ships are out at sea collecting information and data, that's going to help support fisheries jobs, it's going to help support agriculture, it's going to help support transportation. You can't do a lot of those jobs without the value of the products, the weather forecasts and the ocean forecasts that these ships will help support. First of all, my heart goes out to the families who suffered from any of the hurricanes and storms we've seen over the last few years. That's a devastating impact on communities and individuals. We've been able to improve our forecast. And we talk about the track forecast, how far is it on target or off target 3 days out, and the intensity forecast. Can we tell you when it's going to intensify? If you look at what happened with Katrina, it intensified rapidly before it made landfall. Our ability to measure the ocean, which provides the energy for these hurricanes, is part of our ability to improve the forecast. So the more vessels and airplanes and other means we have for getting in the ocean, making those observations, the better we're going to be able to predict the track and the intensity of these bad storms. Everybody at Thomas C., everybody who's been involved, our partners at Navy, everybody is contributing to the ability to get what I call environmental intelligence, understanding of the environment that is going to help with all of the applications for jobs, for protection of life and property. And so you can't do that individually. You've got to do it through a cooperation. We have Coast Guard here today. We work with them. We work with FEMA. We work with the states. We work with the mayor's offices, with the parishes. Everybody contributes. If we can't understand what the challenges are and the needs of our partners, we're not going to be able to provide the services that they use every day to protect the communities and individuals. The issue really is not so much what's causing it as what are we going to do about it. And so right now, just look at the nature of the hurricanes that are coming through the Gulf. I mean, 5 feet of rain fell on Texas in Hurricane Harvey. We had 2 feet of rainfall from Hurricane Ian in Florida just a month or so ago. These storms are changing. They're more powerful. They linger. They're larger. We're seeing the same thing with respect to where fisheries are going. The waters get warmer and change, so the fish move to different parts of the ocean. All of this requires an understanding because ultimately we've got to be able to predict what those changes are going to be. If we can predict accurately how things are going to change as the climate changes, then people can prepare and make the building codes, build differently, make decisions about emergency management differently. And that's why we call it environmental intelligence.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, federal and state representatives, federal partners, community partners, friends and family, and members of the press, of course. Welcome to the great state of Louisiana and the Keel laying ceremony for the research vessel Discoverer. I'm Greg Raymond, the Director of Platform and Infrastructure Acquisition Division for NOAA's Office of Marine and Aviation Operations. I will be your cruise director through this journey today. A few program updates. I'm sorry to pass on the sponsor. The second gentleman of the United States is unable to make it today. Sorry about that, having technical paper difficulties. And sends his best wishes to all. Additionally, the public tour for the shipyard will now begin at 1400 with a recommended arrival time at the shipyard at 1345. Will guests now please rise for the national anthem and the presentation of the colors by the Brother Martin High School Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard. Please take your seats. It's my great pleasure to introduce today's first speaker. The speaker actually needs very little introduction in these parts. He's been a staunch supporter for NOAA and for NOAA shipbuilding in the region. He's a great partner and friend for this project. Please welcome the Managing Director for Thomas C. Marine Constructors, Walt Thomas C.
Pull out my copious notes. I just, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is an exciting program for us here, especially in South Louisiana, a coastal community. I think we have a lot of common interests with NOAA and the program, the vital mission that NOAA brings to our nation with the study of our oceans, which affect so many of our lives, our food sources, our climate, our transportation routes. It's really an honor for us as a shipyard to be a part of this program and recapitalization effort that NOAA's undertaking. We worked really hard as a team, Thomas E. and TAI, our design agent, and all of the SSVs and all the people that contributed to the design of the vessel. The NOAA people, the Navy. It was a huge collaborative effort to put this together, and we're really excited about it. The Discoverer is the second of two vessels, which is going to bring a higher level of technology, a greener technology to the efforts of researching and mapping our oceans and studying our planet, which is very vital for us nowadays. I mean, we can all see what happens in the world, so this is just an exciting program to be a part of, very relevant to everything we do here. So, and I want to thank everybody who showed up today. We have a lot of esteemed guests from local and federal government here, and people that work with us day in and day out in our community. This program is also, we were talking about weather patterns. We were slammed pretty hard last year by Ida, and it was a brutal impact on our community. And this program is just another piece of the puzzle for us as a community, bringing stability to our area, creating valuable jobs and stability for our citizens of the area. So we're just honored to be part of it. Like I said earlier, the efforts that are brought in, working with NOAA, working with the Navy, this program's been a really, really good exercise in collaboration and working together to make sure that we don't just deliver a useful vessel, but we deliver the right vessel that operates as it's supposed to and exceeds expectations. And the areas where the shipyard may lack a bit of knowledge, NOAA and the operators come in and we're able to collaborate to make sure that the intended purpose is met. So it's really, really been an exciting process, and we're just grateful that the whole partnering experience throughout this process. So that being said, not a man of too many words. Again, it's I can't express enough as a firsthand. I've grown up in South Louisiana my entire life, watched all the changes that take place, and can't express enough, really, the vital mission that NOAA brings to not just our area, but globally. And it's just really an honor to be a part of this process. So, thank you.
Thank you, Walt. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our next featured speaker and our key federal partner for this project, the Program Manager of Auxiliary and Special Mission Shipbuilding, PMS 325, Mr. John Lighthammer.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really great to be here with you all today. on this really joyous and fun event in shipbuilding. And before I start, I really want to extend an appreciation to the NOAA team and giving me the opportunity to say a few words on behalf of the Navy leadership. It truly is a partnership, and we appreciate the opportunity. Thanks. I'd also like to give a thank you to the sponsor, second gentleman who couldn't be here, but it really is an honor to be the ship sponsor. In the Navy, the ship sponsor has a lot of significance and a lot of meaning. There's a tie there between the sponsor and the ship, and the sponsor and the crew that lasts through the service life of the entire vessel. So it's really incredible honor signified by this event, and there's a lot of history and tradition that goes along with it. So it's much appreciated. We'd also like to thank and welcome Dr. Rick Spinrad, the Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans, Atmosphere, and also the NOAA Administrator. Also Rear Admiral Chad Carey, the Deputy Director of NOAA in the Office of Marine and Aviation Operations. And of course, want to thank Walter Thomasy and a big round of applause to all the Thomasy workers that are really putting their exceptional, unwavering work and effort into building both ships. But the Discovery here today is going to go on and do great things, pave the way to really state-of-the-art vessel and really aid in NOAA's mission for decades to come. I've always thought it's fascinating to kind of consider all that goes into constructing ships of all sizes, right? The coordination, the precision, the effort, and the execution, right? It's really not for the faint of heart. It starts with the keel laying today, right, and moving all through all the different stages of construction, the launch, the trials and delivery, but all of those are experiences that really are very unique to the shipbuilding industry, and it's an honor to be part of that. It's an honor to be part of that, and the Navy is very grateful to be part of that with NOAA, with Thomasy, because it is a significant sort of monumentous occasion, the keel laying. It's also another great event because it brings together all the different government entities, NOAA, ourselves, Thomasy, and sort of it's a second new cutting edge ship to discover, and it's going to go on and do great things in the mission. It's just a proud moment for everyone here. We're also grateful, the NOAA team and the Navy partnership with this. We're very grateful to be working sort of on the front lines, working side by side, with the various operators, scientists, and everyone on the NOAA team that's partnered together to make this program a success, right? The Navy acquisition community is vast and diverse, from small support ships up to aircraft carriers. But we're trying to leverage that expertise, of our acquisition community to collaborate with all partners like NOAA, sort of to ensure that the world-class vessels are delivered, enabling, the modern, effective capability to meet the mission of NOAA, both today and in the future. So today also sort of commemorates sort of reaffirmation of the Navy's commitment to work with NOAA and support NOAA through this program, and build a future fleet for NOAA. But as we all know, shipbuilding is a tough job. It takes a lot of dedication and work. There's a lot of challenges, right? So we're here celebrating a monumentous occasion, but there's going to be lots of challenges heading forward, filled with long hours and tough, hard decisions. That being said, I think we all know, if you feel comfortable with the Navy team, NOAA, and of course Thomasy, we're all ready for the challenge, ready to charge on and keep moving. Yeah. And it's the hard work, dedication, and teamwork, and the resolve and the passion that you can see are in these shipyards and these on-site folks working hard to get the Discovery to be something that we can all be proud of. So again, I'd like to thank NOAA and the team and all the distinguished guests and all attendants and having me today to support the keel laying session. So thank you.
Thank you, John. It's my distinct pleasure now to welcome the next speaker up. The speaker for me I've known for years and years and years, and he is now in charge of our operational fleet and leads it the best that I've seen done. And so I'd like to welcome the Deputy Director for Marine and Aviation Operations and the Deputy Director of the NOAA Commissioned Corps, Rear Admiral Chad Carey. Rear Admiral Carey.
Good morning. It's a privilege to be here with you, Dr. Spinrad, Mr. Dove, Mr. Zarang, Mr. Lighthammer, Mr. Thomas C., and our valued partners and community. As a NOAA Corps officer and a lifelong mariner, this is an exciting day for myself and our service. The NOAA Commissioned Officer Corps and the NOAA fleet trace its roots back to 1807 when President Thomas Jefferson, arguably our most scientific president in the history of our country, signed into law the Survey of the Coast. Even then, at the start of a brand new country, leaders saw the value and need for reliable, credible, and publicly available information to inform policy decisions about our ocean and coastal resources. Fast forward now to 2022, and the need for valuable environmental information that is readily available to the public has not subsided, and in fact, it's in even higher demand than it ever has been before. By laying the Discoverer's keel today, we are sustaining our commitment to exploration, discovery, adventure, and an economy intertwined with the ocean. We are proud that NOAA ships play a vital role in supporting safe navigation, commerce, marine resource management, and ocean exploration. And having these new ships, the Discoverer and her sister ship, Oceanographer, will enable us to continue the work that NOAA's predecessors in the U.S. Coast Survey jump-started under President Thomas Jefferson 215 years ago today. Thank you for being here today and for your support as we continue to serve this great nation moving forward.
Thank you, sir. It is now my honor to invite the next guest speaker to the podium. This individual knows NOAA better than anybody in NOAA. He has previously served as the Assistant Administrator for the National Ocean Service, the head of NOAA Research, and the Chief Scientist for all of NOAA. He now currently serves as the Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere and the 11th NOAA Administrator, the Honorable Dr. Rick Spinrad. Dr. Spinrad?
Thanks. I'll move the mic down from the Admiral. This tall guy. I couldn't be prouder to be the NOAA administrator, seriously, than I am today. What an extraordinary day this is. And you've got a sense of the partnership between Thomas C., NOAA, Navy, Coast Guard, hello, Captain, thank you, and the community. And before I start my prepared remarks, I want to point out, think about what we're doing today. For many, many people, their first and sometimes their only interaction with NOAA is when they see that great white ship pulling into a port that they might be at for work or pleasure. And it's such an important icon of what we do. It's a representation of the NOAA Corps, it's a representation of our mission, it's a representation of their tax dollars at work. And so we're really at a seminal point here as we authenticate the keel of this ship. I want to say good afternoon to everyone, Mr. Thomas C., Mr. Lighthammer, Admiral, Mr. Dove, Mr. Zarang, distinguished guests, including retired Vice Admiral Mike Devaney, my friend, with whom I served at NOAA for many years, members of the press, men and women, distinguished honor guard. What a treat that was. What a great job. Let's give them another round of applause. And the men and women of Thomas C., who are really at the heart of what we're going to be doing here over the next couple of years. And to everyone else who's here to just help us celebrate this event. I am so pleased, in addition to being honored and humbled by what we're doing here today, because this important milestone, the start of the construction of Discoverer, the second of two oceanographic vessels being built for NOAA by Thomas C., in the great state of Louisiana. The Discoverer is going to support some critical missions. I like to point out that what's going to be done with the Discoverer and going to be done by the NOAA Corps, some wonderful members of which are here in the audience, our wage mariners, our scientists, will affect every single person in this country, whether it's through a weather forecast that's made better by observations at sea, whether it's through food security by having a better idea of how to manage our marine fisheries, whether it's through understanding how major storms or tsunamis or other events may threaten the security of coastal communities. What we're going to be doing here is really profound. And then when you add to that the fact that we're looking at the impacts of climate and climate change on ocean ecosystems, the ability to have a seagoing vessel that can go basically anywhere in the world is really, really cutting edge. And I'm particularly delighted that we are able to have the second gentleman as a sponsor for this vessel. As you heard from Mr. Lighthammer, that is a real honor. And it's also a real reflection of the prestige, if you will, and importance held by the highest offices in the government for what we're doing and what we will do with this vessel. Think about this. People who haven't even been born yet will one day rely on the data, the information, what I like to call environmental intelligence that's going to be collected by this vessel to plan their lives, to start businesses, to stay safer, to have a good time. Part of it's about recreation, right? And today, we mark the initial steps in this vision. Just this morning, I did have the pleasure of touring the Thomas C. Shipyard, thank you, where I really had an opportunity to witness the shipyard's dedicated team fabricating the modules that will be joined together to form NOAA's newest ships, the Discoverer and the Oceanographer. Now, for me, this is also a little bit personal. Before I put on this suit and started driving a desk in Washington, I too was a researcher at sea. I spent over 300 days at sea on a variety of different ships. And so I can really appreciate the quality of workmanship, the value of having state-of-the-art vessels at sea. Building a ship of any size is a massive effort. Building not only one, but two world-class ships like these requires a dedicated and skilled team, including naval architects, carpenters, fabricators, surveyors, welders, pipe fitters, painters, electricians, engineers, inspectors, contract specialists, and others. There's a story many years ago, one of my predecessors, Kathy Sullivan, used to tell. She was an astronaut, and there was a story about when Lyndon Johnson was going through the command center in Houston, that now is named for him, during the Apollo mission development, and he walked past a janitor, and he asked the janitor, "What are you doing?" And the janitor said, "I'm putting a man on the moon." And it was the culture there that, yeah, he was cleaning up garbage and sweeping the floor, but he understood how that helped make the job of the engineers easier, more efficient, and in the end of the day, he could claim he was contributing. I would argue that's exactly what we're doing here. We're making the world a better place because the vessels that will be built here are going to be collecting the information, the environmental intelligence that's going to do all the things I alluded to earlier with respect to improving lives, livelihoods, and lifestyles. It's also important to point out, and I'm very proud of the fact that this investment in NOAA's fleet is putting hundreds of people to work right here in Louisiana and across the country. When commissioned, these American-built ships will greatly increase our ability to provide scientific insight, scientific data, essential for protecting lives and lifestyles, and building what we are calling a climate-ready nation, a nation that will actually benefit and prosper from understanding the kind of changes that are going to be observed by these ships. And in addition, the data collected by these ships is also going to help spur new knowledge-based economic opportunities. There's an economic development that will come out of that environmental intelligence collected by these ships. And this is all going to be accomplished with a limited carbon footprint through high-efficiency diesel engines and emission controls as part of a goal I've set for the agency to have our fleet be net zero by the year 2050. It's estimated that this technology provided by Siemens Energy will lead to fuel savings of 15,000 gallons per year for each of those vessels, resulting in a reduction of approximately 5,700 tons of carbon dioxide. That's an offset that's equivalent to planting about 370,000 trees. So in the path to net zero, what you're seeing being built here is a critical milestone in our ability to have that net zero fleet. I should also point out that these vessels are going to make history, and this one will actually be the third ship in NOAA's history to carry the name Discoverer. The U.S. Coast and Geodetic Survey ship Discoverer served in the Pacific from 1922 to 1941. Think about 41. So the work it was doing was directly related to naval operations during the Second World War. The second Discoverer served in the NOAA fleet with distinction from 1967 to 1996 and was focused on the collection of oceanographic and meteorological data. And I have no doubts, none whatsoever, that the new Discoverer and its crew is similarly going to influence and increase our understanding of this planet. So I eagerly await the exciting discoveries that Discoverer will bring us when its crew of NOAA Corps officers, professional civilian mariners, and scientists set out from the ship's Newport, Rhode Island, home port in 2026. You know, I'm a temporary employee. I'm an appointed official. I can tell you that I will not be in this office when this ship is decommissioned. I hope I'm in the office for a few years while it's commissioned. But that to me is kind of a mind-blowing concept, that what we're doing here today will prove to be a critical tool in the tool set of the NOAA family, the NOAA team, the people that have Admiral Carey's job, the people that have the junior officers' jobs in years to come in the NOAA Corps, and your children, perhaps, as some of those scientists and civilian mariners. So we have so much more to learn about the ocean. The Discoverer and her crew will be at the front line of unlocking the unknown, giving us that environmental intelligence we need to, again, improve the lives, livelihoods, and lifestyles of every American. Thank you very much.